Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget.
What up, YouTube? We're back talking some NBA content. We're going to show love to the Sacramento Kings.
Sectone?
I know. Most of the media does not give y'all love. It's kind of sad, actually. Like, this is probably the best team on offense in the NBA. By statistics, it's one of the best Sacramento teams since the Stojakovic, Weber era. And they still get no love. Like,
you know what the Sacramento Kings are to me? They're the Detroit Lions of the NBA. It's like they sucked for so long and they're finally doing some shit right, and you want to root for them. You know what I mean? It's like, I want you to do good. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, really good fan base. Their over-under for this year was 34.5. They already passed it. So
Sweet.
That's a good bet. If you took the over, you're not sweating that one. But yeah, they're first in points per game, first in offensive rating. They're one of the fastest teams in the league. But yeah, they're never on national TV.
I think it's, man, somebody give Sabonis the credit, man. That dude is good. He's a good player.
And I still feel like they lost that trade, but it worked so well for what they wanted to do. It's almost a win-win where I think they're now looked at as slightly losing that trade just because of how good Halliburton can be and is. But at the time, that looked like a really dumbass Kings trade. But now it just looks like a surprisingly good win-now Kings trade where maybe Halliburton and Fox wouldn't have paired well, which I still think they would have because Halliburton is such a good distributor. But yeah, both teams really made off well. It's like the Cleveland, Utah, Donovan Mitchell trade where both teams got a fair return. I think teams are getting smarter with trading, most of them, not Minnesota. And that everyone just gives the Kings a lot of crap because they've made so many bad moves in the last 20, 30, 40 years that every time they make a trade, it's like, why did they do that? Or when they drafted Davion Mitchell, why did they draft another guard? I mean, and they do it to themselves. They got Marvin Bagley in the draft when they could have got Luka or Trae Young. So it's I've always liked the Kings. I always liked the small market teams. I've always pulled for them, but it's nice to see that Sabonis trade has paid off so well, and De'Aaron Fox too. Last year, a lot of people were saying he was overrated. Now he's doing what he's doing.
Well, they're running basically the same offense as the Warriors. So that's why they knew Sabonis was a better fit than Halliburton. And I'm a Halliburton fan. Nick will tell you, I talk about him all the time. Yeah. They didn't lose that trade. The Kings won that trade. That's why Halliburton's he's trying to get, and I'm not saying that Indy did bad either. It's just because you can rebuild around Halliburton, you can't rebuild around Sabonis. So I think I'll take 50-50 split on that, but I don't think the Pacers won that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good argument.
Let me say this: is they were both all-stars, so I mean that doesn't mean nothing. Do you feel like Halliburton's a top 20 player in the league?
No, not yet, but he's what, 22, 23?
And do you feel like Sabonis is a top 20 player in the league?
No.
I do.
I think he's top 30.
Just considering all the things he can do that he does, that's what makes him a top 20 player.
He's a poor man's Jokic, which is not an insult. Being a poor man's he's like a upper middle class Jokic, which isn't an insult at all. It's no one can.
I feel like he's a mixture of Jokic and Draymond because he's a much better defender than Jokic.
That's true too. Yeah, he does provide.
That's why
more.
I'm like this. Like the dude has no holes in his game. He has no weakness aside from like if I pick a poison, you're just gonna have to beat me from the 3-point line. You know what I mean? But
great move for him because he doesn't have to play with Miles Turner, which was never a good fit for him.
Yep. And you playing on Sacramento when they got Barnes and they brought in Murray, who are stretch forwards, so it leaves the court wide open for because you just put in a good position to succeed.
Yeah. Well, that's your Warriors comparison. Harrison Barnes is so good they didn't trade him. He's a glue guy for that team, and he fits in so well, especially with the younger guys because he's won so much. But then also Kevin Huerter, the Hawks got rid of him for nothing basically, and then you get this guy who can knock down threes, who was kind of redundant on the Hawks because they had so many 3-point shooters, which you think you could never have too many, but if none of them can play defense, then yeah, you can. And he's really fit in well with Sacramento too, so we got to give him credit. Malik Monk, a great 6-man off the bench. They filled in all these gaps, and everyone talks about positionless basketball, but there's still positions and roles within a team that you need to fill. And the Kings did that with the trade for Sabonis and guys like Herter and Monk.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. Now, what makes me nervous is I think they might get to the playoffs and choke. They've never been there. Like, they have no experience. Herter's your most experienced playoff person.
I can't wait to watch that building in the playoffs. So they just can't slip to the play-in, which I don't think they will. I think they're.
Oh no, I think they'll stay in as a home seed. I really feel like they stay as a home seed.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix is going to shoot up the standings.
That's true.
That's what's tough.
Memphis
like the West, there's so many
Denver
underperforming teams in the West. And we've seen New Orleans drop all the way out. Like the Warriors are – I mean, the good thing is the Kings have built a little gap right now. They're in the third spot. They're 3.5 over Phoenix. But, I mean, there's still 20-something games left. Yeah. 3.5 over Phoenix, 4.5 over the Warriors and the Clippers. It'd be shocking if they fell out to the 7th seed where the Mavs are.
Oh, no, I don't see that happening. The Mavs defense is just so bad. It's some of the worst I've ever seen.
But, okay, let's say the season ends today and they play the Clippers. That's a realistic 3-6. Who do you think they'd have a chance?
I don't. Because, I mean, you're talking about a team that's the Western Conference version of Brooklyn. It's just full of wings that know how to defend that kind of style of play. You know what I mean? And what do you do? Like, I just don't trust that team to shoot the Clippers out of a series. I don't. Because that's how you'd have to beat them.
Kings Mavericks would be a fun ass series. There'd be no defense in that series. Luka would be dropping 40 or 50 a game. Kyrie would be going for 30. There'd be a lot of high school. That's the series that would go 6 or 7. I think Dallas wins because they have the best player in it, but
I think the Kings have a chance of beating any team that will let the Kings dictate pace. If you play with how fast the Kings want to, you'll probably lose. Except for like Memphis or the Nuggets.
Yeah.
But like I think that the Kings could beat Phoenix.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what realistic playoff opponent do you think the Kings could beat? Not Phoenix, KD.
I just think that Phoenix plays so. Like I'm watching this Phoenix game with KD today. They play slow, so that's gonna play into De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox has such an advantage speed wise over Chris Paul.
Yeah, but you got Booker and KD, and then Chris Paul running the show, and then DeAndre Ayton, who I think is underrated now to an extent. Phoenix, yeah, they play slow, but in the playoffs it slows down. Typically, the pace of play does. I think it would be a tough matchup for the Kings.
I think the Kings can beat Dallas. I think they could beat Golden State at their own game. I was going to say
Golden State would be. That would be.
I think they could beat the Lakers.
Oh yeah.
What about the Clippers?
I think the Clippers are the one team that give them trouble.
What about Minnesota?
I don't think Minnesota gets out of play-in.
Sorry.
The Pelicans, if they get fully healthy?
If they were healthy, yes. That's the series I would want to see right there.
That'd be fun.
There's so many good Western. Every matchup in the West is going to be must-see.
The Pelicans, if they don't get to the second round, they're going to blow that team up.
Around Zion?
Yep. You have to.
Yeah. It hurts so much. It's tough.
Because you have too many good wings on that team.
Well, I have Herb Jones. The Jazz are probably falling out.
Yep.
Who's taking the Jazz spot, though, if they fall out? The Blazers or the Lakers? Or the Thunder? I kind of like the Thunder of those three.
That's what I told Nick the other day, but I'm not entirely sold on that. I think the Lakers get. I think but I have a feeling that team's going to do good.
So the play-in would be right now if the Lakers snuck in. over the Jazz and say the Pelicans go to 9, we'd have T-Wolves, Pelicans, Lakers against the Mavs.
Oh yeah,
Mavs
LeBron versus Kyrie.
Smoke.
That's what ESPN wants right there. Yeah.
It is. I think they smoke them, and then the Lakers could probably beat.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
T-Wolves.
If you look at this, 12. Well, really, like say 12 to 5 can move. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that could mean
20
like,
games left.
yeah, that could mean like the Kings might be a playing team. Like you said earlier, you know,
They'd have to drop 5 games in the standings, which isn't impossible by any means. They've won 4 straight, so that's helping them. 22 games left, or 21 games left. That'd be a big fall with how well they're playing. And if you're the Kings, you shouldn't be like, if you're a Kings fan, don't be delusional and be like, oh, we got to get to the 3 seed so we can avoid Denver in round 2. It's like, no, you guys got to get a good round 1 matchup so you can get out of round 1. And to your point, I don't think the Clippers are a good matchup with playoff Kawhi. I think will be full force. I really think they would want to play a team like the Warriors, or the T-Wolves, and the Warriors for different reasons. Yeah, I don't know. Playoff Luke is an animal. That's tough.
I'm telling you, I don't think the Dallas would know how to defend them. I really don't. I think that Sacramento would get easy buckets on them. I really do.
Can we stop pretending? This is a Kings episode, so I'm sorry, but can we stop pretending Jason Kidd can coach an NBA team?
True that.
So he's a great point guard. He put Giannis at point guard, which helped Giannis's career, but then did nothing else after that was good for the Bucks. It was all detrimental. And now he's with Dallas, and he's saying these stupid quotes like, I'm not putting the jersey on, I'm just the coach. It's like, so are you admitting that you don't have control over your team, which has always been the case? He does some things really old school, and then he tries to go new school. Jason Kidd's just kind of stuck in the middle, and I think just because of his name, he's able to keep these jobs longer than another coach would.
And that is why I have Sacramento over Dallas.
Yeah, I'd take Mike Brown over Jason Kidd in a coaching battle. If you gave him the same team, I think I'd rather have Mike Brown.
Yeah, I was looking at the Kings' next few games. I mean, it's regular season, but as the West starts to tighten, they're gonna matter. They have like Clippers, T-Wolves, Pelicans, Knicks, Suns, Bucks.
And it's them teams right there in the bracket trying to move up. So if they lose some of those, man, I really think that Portland can get in the play-in.
And see, they play Portland 2 more times. They play the Mavericks again. They play the Warriors, the Nuggets. All these teams in the West that they need to beat, they're gonna be playing them up in like the next 15 games all the way to April. It's like,
yeah, their schedule's not doing them. They have 5 of their last 7 games are on the road. Portland twice on the road, then San Antonio, which is fine. But then they finish at New Orleans, at Dallas, home Warriors, at Denver, and Denver may be resting guys at that point. But that is a brutal stretch. Yeah, this is a big homestand, like you said, coming up. They got to take 3 of 4, which I think they can. The Pelicans are wounded. The Knicks are beatable.
And if
that Clippers game, if it's like the last Clippers game.
For sure, though, I really want home court.
Oh, yeah.
I want home in my home for the first time since I don't even remember. I think last time I saw a Kings game was when Mike Bibby was the point guard.
It's like, they're not winning a series if they're not home court.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Unless they play like,
which keeps like Dallas or Minnesota,
because they could be in that 4 or 5 series. That's believable. They fall.
That's what I'm thinking. Like
3 spots.
If you get to the 4-5 series, you could win that as long as
If I had to predict, I think the Suns jump the Kings, so it's gonna be Suns 3, and then it'll be Kings, either Clippers. Kings Warriors or Kings Clippers. I don't think Dallas is gonna pass either of those 2 to get to 5. And with how the Warriors, I don't know, Warriors have been playing better of late, but I'm thinking it's going to be a Cali 4 or 5, and then the Suns will play whoever's left of that bunch, and then the Mavs will have to I don't like this Mavericks team, but that's another.
I
that's
don't
another
never
day.
like the Mavs team. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of Luca or like I don't hate on you, but I'm not impressed by you. I've seen what you do before, you know.
And
I
then
don't
get
think
rid
you
of all
could
your
match.
wings.
I don't think you could match two. There's like no two players least compatible in the league to me than those two. Like, what the hell is going on here? They play the exact same way.
Yeah.
And then get rid of Dorian Finney-Smith, your only good 3-and-D wing, or your best 3-and-D wing.
And not only that, is like your best prospect also plays the same position as Kyrie. So and Jaden Hardy. So what the hell are y'all gonna do?
Well, it's funny because everyone gave him shit for the Brunson thing, not extending him for $55 million and then not signing him this offseason. And then their panic move is like, okay, we'll get Kyrie then, which might appeal like a 12-year-old NBA fan who's like, who cares about Jalen Brunson? We have Kyrie. And it's like, good for you, dude. Like, Jalen Brunson knows the world's round. Like, he's a better passer. He's a better defender. Like, and then you don't get all the drama stuff. And you're telling me Kyrie and Jason Kidd are going to get along? Sorry, once again, sorry, Kings fans, but this is making your case. This is making your case for making out a round one. Is if you're playing a dysfunctional, potentially dysfunctional team like Dallas, the Kings are having fun and they're playing as a team. They're lighting the beam. They're doing all these things that make for a good, at least feel good round one story. I don't think they have the team to make it past round one, but I think with how long it's been since they've tasted the playoffs, that's a win.
It is, but I think the way you do it to get out of the first round is De'Aaron Fox. Like who can match up with him in the West? Like nobody's besides John Morant, nobody's staying in front of him. So if he decides like, okay, I got to go win 2 games, there's a possibility they get out of the first round.
Playoff De'Aaron Fox would be fun because we haven't seen
highly unlikely, but
there's going to be a Herder game where Herder hits like 6 threes.
I did like how De'Aaron Fox and like the John Morant like news is picking back up. If that was to ever play out, I'm not saying they're gonna beat Memphis, but I'm saying I would like to see a one-on-one battle against those two.
I thought
I'm saying it would be fun for us to be Sacramento fans against Memphis. You know what I mean? Like we would all
root for this team against almost anyone in the West.
Look, yeah, I'm.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, I just mean likability wise.
Oh yeah, true that. Durant made me like Phoenix.
Really?
Kevin Durant is my favorite player in the league. Like Kevin Durant is. I never seen nothing like that dude. So I always think that he gives his team a shot, and whatever team he's on, I like it.
I respectfully hate KD. It's all respect.
Yeah.
That Bucks Nets classic 7-game series was the most stressful thing I've ever watched, and it's so hard to hate on KD after watching that because the whole bullshit that he can't carry a team. It's not that he can't carry a team. He's just been in these weird circumstances his whole career, and he like we all know who Russell Westbrook is as a player now, and I hated him going to Golden State too. I whatever, but I get not wanting to play with Russell Westbrook in OKC. I get that. Have you driven through Oklahoma? Have you seen Russell Westbrook play basketball? Like, I get it. I totally get that. And then what's the difference of going? I get it. They just lost the title. But then if you would have gone to Boston or whatever, they were building a good team at the time too. There's no winning. You're not going to Charlotte. Like, these superstars aren't going to be like, I'm going to go to Charlotte now that I'm in my prime to prove I can win it.
Because you got to think about what had just happened is LeBron had just came back from a 3-1 deficit. So then it's like, oh, LeBron, he's king dingling. So he's like, I'm staying on the West and I'm going to Golden State. And I'm going to tell you why I never cared about it. Because when he got there, he made it very clear whose team that was. It was his. The 2 years he was healthy, he won. The third year, he was about to win again, but he got hurt. So I don't hate on him for that.
I mean, like, fan base wise, it was always Curry's team, which is why he left. Because he didn't like how it was still Curry's team.
Yeah,
he was the best player on those teams.
Yeah, of course. I'll never forget in the first time they played Cleveland in the finals where he slow crawled the ball up the court, stared LeBron down, and shot that bitch from 30 in his face. And then from that instant, I was like, uh-oh.
Well, LeBron. I mean, that game one, LeBron had one of the best games of all time just to get the J.R. Smith game. They're not winning that series. The Cavs aren't winning that series. I think the J.R. Smith thing would have been an even bigger deal if people thought the Cavs had a chance to win that series. I think it's what's so sad about that is he ruined probably the last best LeBron game of his career. I'm not saying LeBron's washed or anything. I'm just saying like LeBron's probably never going to have a game like that again. Or he's not. Like, yeah, he's not. So that's what kind of sucks about it is it was an L. But yeah,
I'll
once
go
again,
out right now and say Domantas Sabonis has one monster game like that in the playoffs. He has a monster triple-double.
calling a herder game.
Well, Sacramento, I'm sorry we talked about LeBron and KD on your street. I promise it's not gonna always be like this. We just go everywhere.
Why don't the Kings get enough attention? Then we just talk about every other team in the West.
But man, let us know what you think your team's gonna do, where they're gonna rank at, who they're gonna play up. Who do you want to see them match up against? It's a fun team. We're honestly all love to that team, for real, for real. If you like these videos, let us know. We're gonna be doing a lot more on your team, especially come playoff time. Make sure you like, subscribe to the network, and we're out.